starting our journey in a very appropriate place for this car, the Daylesford Organic Farm Shop in Oxfordshire, which is exquisite, beautiful food, has chargers in the car park. It's exquisite. It's a middle-class fantasy world, and in a way that's entirely appropriate for this car, because this car is exquisite. It's vegan, it's organic, it's fabulous, it is really, really beautiful. I'm slightly overwhelmed and I'm going to get over it. So this is the Polestar 2 and this is fully charged. So what I'm going to be talking about today in this car is absolutely specific. All I am going to do is compare this car to the Tesla Model 3. So this is fabulous, and the reason it's comparable to the Tesla Model 3 will become obvious as we rattle through the stats. I have now driven hundreds of different cars, including pretty much every electric car that is currently available and some that will be available very shortly. So I've had a very wide experience of that. Now, I'm not saying I am a high-end professional driver. I'm definitely not. I'm just a very experienced driver. I have spent tens of thousands of hours behind a steering wheel in my life. And I've driven all over the world, left-hand drive, right-hand drive. And out of all those cars I've driven, and I find this quite hard to say, out of all those cars I've driven, I actually think this is very close to the best one I've ever driven. It is truly, truly impressive. The human-machine interface on the Polestar 2 is way out ahead. It's better than any other car, including Tesla. Now, I know this because I've driven a Tesla Model 3 for 12,000 miles. I've driven a Tesla Model S for 80,000 miles. I know Teslas very, very well. This car's interface is exquisitely well done. It's simpler. It's not as it's not as quirky. It's Android. You'll be able to use this the moment you get in. You'll find out the menus are all really clear, how you control the car, how you change settings in the car. There's a manual on there which tells you how to do it in case you're not sure. It took me seconds to get used to driving this car. It was an absolute doddle. It is built in China with Chinese components. It's got Chinese batteries. It has a Chinese drivetrain. It is a Chinese car. It is 100% Chinese. But the brand Polestar is a sort of, it was the performance car brand of Volvo before Volvo was owned by a Chinese company. So Geely bought Volvo in 2010. There's a really important caveat, I think, and a really interesting thing. So when we featured the Xiaopeng P7 and the Aura 1 or whatever, the little Chinese car that Elliot Richards reviewed for us in China, we got a lot of comments, and some quite abusive and nasty ones, about the fact that people wouldn't buy it because it was Chinese, and they would never buy anything that was Chinese, and and it was the whole thing about Huawei, the Chinese government, Hong Kong, all those things about China. A lot of criticism like that, and I couldn't help. I did reply to some of the people. I tried to be polite and kind, to say I'm just intrigued as to what technology you're using to make this comment, because no doubt it is using a piece of electronics that is made in China. So now we're going up a hill and making sure that there's no one in the way. Now that that is impressive acceleration. If someone who's never been in an electric car is your passenger and you've got one of these and you want to show off, they will be impressed by its power and its speed. So here's a nice bend that I would actually take slightly slower in a Tesla. Just does not care. Just is not bothered. It's quite a hard ride, as other people have mentioned. It's not a sort of luxury smooth ride. It's got quite a firm ride, but it's so confident. And there's a Tesla Model 3 going the other way, which looks really interesting now, because I think aesthetically, and I know this will annoy a lot of Tesla people, I think aesthetically I prefer this to the Model 3, and yet I absolutely adore driving my Model 3. I'm not going to denigrate the Tesla Model 3 in any way. I think it's the best car Tesla have ever made, and it's the best electric car on the market at the moment, until this arrived. And now it's debatable, and it really depends on your aesthetic sense and one other vitally important thing. So in every respect, this car is so close to the Tesla Model 3, it's comical and possibly not accidental. So the Polestar 2 can go from 0 to 60 miles an hour, or about 100 kph, in 4.7 seconds. 4.7. The Tesla Model 3 all-wheel drive long range, that's the one I drive, can do 0 to 60 or 100 kph in 4.6 seconds. It's 0.1 of a second faster, the Tesla is, than this. The Polestar 2 has a top speed of 130 miles an hour or 209 kph. The Tesla Model 3 has a top speed of 145 miles an hour or 233 kph. So the Tesla is a little bit faster. You could lose your license a little bit quicker. The Polestar 2 has a range of 240 miles or 390 kilometers. The Tesla Model 3 has a range of 280 miles or 450 kilometers. The Polestar 2 costs £46,900 and the Tesla Model 3 costs £46,990. But those comparisons, I think, are absolutely extraordinarily close. So there is one problem on one thing that sets this car apart from the Tesla Model 3. So it's a Chinese car, but it is entirely reliant on a European charging network, which I am going to say very clearly is improving at an astronomical rate, but it is discombobulated. It is hundreds of different suppliers with hundreds of different arrangements all over the place. So for that extra £90 that you're paying for a Tesla Model 3, you can drive, if you're in Europe, anywhere in Europe, if you're in North America, anywhere in North America, if you're in China, pretty much anywhere in China. And it's so easy to use. You don't need a tag, you don't need membership, the car knows. So you drive up to a charger, you plug it in and it starts charging. There is nothing else to do. So that is what sets this car apart. If you buy this car, you will not be disappointed. It is brilliant. There was a time when every single automotive journalist would go, you know, there's something or other, Tesla killer. No, this is a brilliant competitor for the Tesla. This will shake Tesla up. It will make them try harder to make their cars better, because this is bloody good. It really, really is amazing. Look at this car, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I'm really impressed with it. So, but here we have a classic example of what I was talking about as regards the Tesla Model 3 and the Polestar 2, or indeed any other vehicle. Over here we have 4 beautiful Ionity chargers recently installed. One of them works. 3 of them have failed, because that's why I was going to charge it over there. I've come over here to where the Polars are. They all work. Hats off to Polar. They are really working hard to make sure their chargers work. You don't have to have a membership, you don't have to do anything. You just tap your card on it and you plug it in and it works. So it's charging now. That is critically important if you're using this car to drive all around the place. I am charging this at about 50 kilowatts. Now, if I was charging over there, this car can charge at 120 kilowatts, so I would get a much faster charge over there. I mean, today it doesn't matter. I just want to point out to people who might not have driven an electric car, this is for show purposes only. I absolutely do not need to charge this car to get to where I'm going now and then to get home. It's a doddle. So I'm only driving about 130 miles today. Well within the range of this vehicle. But let's just have a look at it, because I do think it is a beautiful car, every aspect of it. So that has a sort of frunk with the charging cables in. I mean, that is great. Having somewhere else to put your car charging cables, if they're in the back and then you put a load of baggage on, then you need to plug it in, you've got to get, normal story. So that is reasonable, not that big. I mean, you could get a bit of shopping in there, you could get a small laptop in there, I suppose. But it's basically to put the cables in. Screen wash. That's really all you ever need to know. Where do you put the screen wash? That's nice. That just closes. That's good. I like that. So the wing mirrors, a lot of people have raved about the wing mirrors because they have no edge around them. The glass goes to the edge, which is okay. It's not something that really profoundly excites me. The wheels, yes. So when it arrived at my house, there were two builders working on a house the other side of the lane to me. The first thing they said is, "Oh, look at the calipers." They love the calipers. So the bronze brake calipers clearly have a slightly fetishistic quality to them. There's one thing I want to show you, which I think it's small, but it's important. So I've got the key in my pocket. I've got shopping. I'm going to mime it. A load of shopping. Come round to the back and I put my foot under the let me try again. So I've got my shopping. Oh, it's really heavy. Move it a bit. And then I go who knows, I might never be able to open this again. So the back of this is slightly smaller, I've read, than the Tesla Model 3. I can't really tell, it's not that much difference, but what is nice, it's a big flat space, really flat floor, a little side pocket there, but this is what I really like, this thing. Oh, there. Now that, you go, well, what's the point of that? Well, it's got two little hooks there. You put your shopping in there. If you haven't got a load of shopping and filling up the whole thing, it means it's not going to be flying around. It's held in place by that little flap. But this is what knocked me out. Underneath there, massively extra space. You could get a lot of luggage in that. So this, I think, is better than the Tesla Model 3. Not as good, not comparable, better. These lines, all these joins, here, up here on the roof, all the way around the doors, are exquisitely accurate. You can tell they are millimetre accurate, really micron accurate. It's so well built. So, I mean, I can't even sum up because it's just, there's no way of summing up in one way. It's an emotional, I'm having an emotional response to this car. I absolutely beep, beep, not suitable for children, love it. It is an amazing achievement. It really is. It's right at the very top of any electric vehicle. I drive a Tesla Model 3. I honestly think this is as good in every aspect except public charging. That's the big advantage that the Tesla has. But this car just looks gorgeous. It goes like stink if you want it to. It also drives very sensibly with sipping energy, considering its size and the power behind it. This is going to sell. People are going to buy this. People will want this car. People who can afford a Tesla Model 3 have a choice now. Have quite a lot of choices. I mean, you get to go for an I-Pace, which they're selling loads. Jaguar are doing very well with the I-Pace, and rightly so. But this is going to do really good business. We are very proud at Fully Charged of our independence. We do not get sponsored by any big companies or anything like that. We are entirely dependent on the generosity and the incredible generosity of our Patreon supporters, of which we have over 3,500. It is amazing. We could not make this show without them. So if there's any chance that you want to have a quick look at the Patreon link that's beneath this video and just consider it, we'd be extremely grateful. I don't care if you do it or not, it's up to you. I don't care if you subscribe or not, but it would help if you did, because you won't miss out any of our amazing shows. What I do care about is that you watch Fully Charged, because we are making some brilliant shows against all the odds. It's really quite complicated to film this stuff at the moment, but we are managing, and I'm really proud of the team who work incredibly hard at keeping this show going. It's really, really important that they get the thanks that they very much deserve. So that's all. That's all I can say. Patreon, subscribe. Love you all. As always, if you have been, thank you for watching.